Welcome to the weekend edition of the Nightly Nugent. You know what, Ted? I so badly want to hear what you're doing up there in northern Michigan this week. But before we get there, I don't know if you've noticed it, that big tech has been doing everything they can to block what we're doing here at the Nightly Nuge. And so I think the only way that we're going to be able to get around this big tech censorship as we the people is to spread the word. So maybe you want to give a word to our listeners and viewers of how they can keep us from getting completely censored by big tech. And then tell us what you're doing up in that cabin in the North Woods of Michigan.
Well, as an activist, I actually believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule. I believe God gave us everything we need for the ultimate life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so I put to use, to the best of my ability, those gifts from God every day to make music and to create hunting opportunities for people. I'm involved with all the military and children's and conservation charities out there, Second Amendment activist charities. So I've always been an extremist. My name is Ted Nugent. How y'all doing? I'm a radical. I'm so radical I dare to experiment in self-government. And the ultimate reward for all the risks that I take, exposing my life, my reputation, my honor, my family name to the evil of the power-abusing bureaucrats out there, I reward myself. I get plenty of rewards because everywhere I walk in the streets of America, people come up to me, the nicest people, the kindest people, the warmest people, the friendliest people. And they all thank me for standing up for our rights, our freedoms, our First Amendment, our Second Amendment, our hunting rights. Those are rights from God. We have not only just a right to harvest the surplus every year before the death of winter, we have a moral, spiritual, and intellectual obligation to participate in conservation, sustained yield, habitat carrying capacity, renewable resource, happy Thanksgiving. And I've been a hunter my entire life. This is my 74th deer season. I am in the wilds of Michigan's Upper Peninsula with a bunch of great families, and I'm chasing bears with my Matthews bow and arrow. But I've already had a great season on doves. I've killed a lot of squirrels and rabbits. The deer season in Michigan is getting underway. My family is dedicated to this responsibility to harvest the surplus. We donate tons of pure, organic, nutritious, delicious venison to soup kitchens and homeless shelters. So let me promote the Sportsmen Against Hunger program here in Michigan. Louis Crick and the men and women, the families of the Michigan United Conservation Clubs, the Michigan Bow Hunters, Safari Club International, and all different sporting organizations. We donate millions with the Hunters for the Hungry nationwide. In Iowa, it's the HUSH program. Hunting families donate hundreds of millions. Get that number. Every year, American hunting families donate hundreds of millions of the most organic, natural, renewable, delicious, nutritious, healthy venison to soup kitchens and homeless shelters every year. And you'll never hear this anywhere except on the Nightly Nuge and some of the conservation podcasts that are out there, and I salute them all. But everybody should spread that word to your non-hunting friends. The Hunters of America donate upwards of 300 million. That's a real number. 300 million hot, delicious meals of venison to different charities across this country. And once again, I salute right here in Michigan, the Sportsmen Against Hunger. And if you are so inclined, if you're going to buy a hunting license, there's a box you can check off that'll donate $1 of your license fee to the Sportsmen Against Hunger and the Hunters for the Hungry programs. And it's just the most wonderful, giving, loving, and effective charity out there, because when people need food, they really need protein. And there's nothing better than venison. So I'm up here, and I haven't got a bear report for you yet, but next week on Nightly Nuge we will. But the real point here, Keith, is you're right. Spread the word. If you're enjoying this truth, logic, and common sense orgy, I mean, we're addicted to truth, logic, and common sense, goodwill, decency, honesty, the American dream way of life. If you believe in this and you get a kick out of it for whatever reason, tell everybody you know that there's a Nightly Nuge. And coming soon, Keith is going to join me on my Real America's Voice. I have a Ted Nugent, Real America's Voice Spirit Campfire. It's live every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, but you can get it any time of the week, I guess, with the technology now. But not only is there the nightly nude Truth, Logic, and Common Sense celebration, but there's the Real America's Voice Spirit Campfire every week. I give up a lot of time because I see what is happening to America. And if we, the people who don't live Truth, Logic, and Common Sense, if we don't drive that home, then those who support violent crime, those that support the Biden gangster regime, those that support homelessness and feces and needles in all those Democrat cities, they will win and turn the whole country into Chicago. So once again, I'm going to celebrate hunternation.org. And it's not just about hunting, even though that needs a lot of work. They tried to ban deer lure in Pennsylvania, and we put an end to that because it's all arbitrary, punitive, and capricious, no scientific foundation whatsoever. We're on the front lines making sure that conservation is maximum attractive and available and easy for as many families that want to get involved with family hours of outdoor recreation, balancing the herds, keeping the wildlife in the asset column, and generating cajillions of dollars for conservation programs. So join us at hunternation.org, because as goes America, goes our freedom. And as goes our hunting rights, goes the American freedom in its ultimate way. So Keith, you're doing God's work here, Tim, and everybody involved with Nightly Nude. We thank you all. But here's my plea to everyone watching. Tell everybody you know that what is in your heart and soul is celebrated unambiguously, uncensored, without any filters, right here on the Nightly Nude every day of the week and at the Ted Nugent Real America Voice Spirit Campfire. And I believe in the American dream. I believe in being the best that you can be. And as a hunter, I believe I have a duty to God's miraculous creation to balance the herd and getting the venison, which, by the way, venison is the meat from all game, whether it's a dove or a squirrel or a rabbit or a woodcock or a grouse or a sandhill crane or a bear or a cougar or an antelope or a moose or an elk or a caribou. That's all venison, and it's the best, healthiest protein in the world. That's why I participate.
Come back next week for some more of the Nightly Nude, where there is absolutely no fake news.